Good,
Yep.
good. All right, we will reconvene as the Board of Equalization. Dennis, you want to jump up to the table there, if you would, please. Name and address for the record, and then Kelly will swear you in, and we will go from there.
Dennis Clark, Box 205, McCool Junction.
And raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Go ahead.
Okay, the first question I'd like to ask you, if I built a hog shed in 2000 and I spent $100,000 on it, what's the depreciation on it? For tax purposes,
Kurt?
huh?
I'm asking Kurt here if he's,
The depreciation on it, you build it when?
I'm just using this for example. If I spent $100,000 in 2000, what depreciation is it?
Off the top of my head, I don't know, Dennis. I can't tell you off the top of my head.
Well, that's something we ought to know. Because my sheds, I got sheds out here. One was built in 1989, a couple were built in 1993 or 4.
okay?
The last one was built in 2012, and one was built in 2008. So I suppose if you'd average them together, they'd be probably 2,000
Okay.
average. And the hog business, whether you guys know it or not, has been the worst it's ever been since I've been in the hog business 65 years. Never been this bad. And the other thing is, I'm the only independent that I know of, independent livestock producer raising hogs in York County. According to Steve Geis told me that, then I got to thinking, I said, who's left? I'm the only one left. And the buildings here, you got them at $888,000. I don't know who I could sell them to. Now, I got 2 grain bins on there that I put up 2-3 years ago, and I spent $180,000 on them. But what I would like to know is what's your depreciation on, let's say I put a grain bin up in 2000, I put a 10,000 bushel bin up in 2000, what's it worth today as far as your tax purposes? Now, somebody ought to know that.
Okay. Did you get the email for the new assessment?
Yeah,
Okay, you did get that?
well, yeah, I know, I got it with my wife, what'd you drop it down? 770?
721, 522. It was, the original one that you're here protesting was, and I'm talking about improvements only, just the building.
Yeah,
839, 487.
yeah. I mean, I don't know who I'd sell them to. I mean, they have, trouble is the hog business, everybody's in the same boat I am, you know. And so, you guys can do what you want. I mean, I would say 450 to 500,000 would be my value.
Yeah, you,
Well, I see I requested 604,000, didn't I?
land and buildings.
Yeah, which I suppose that's probably reasonable for me, I suppose. The only thing is, I don't know who I'd sell them to. It ain't like an 80 acres of ground where you got 40 buyers that buy.
Right.
So,
Right, and obviously, is what you're stating, there's really no comparables for you to compare what you have there to in the county, if there's no other hog.
no, there's, by Luston, there's,
Friesens.
who,
Friesen.
yeah, they got 3 or 4 over there, and then they got this, Farrow to Ween up here, north of McCool, over there by, close to Waco, between McCool and Waco.
Right.
And that's for sale, because they're can't make any money. So, I don't know, you guys can do what you want to,
Do you know what that's for sale for, Dennis?
no, I don't.
You don't know.
I'm sure and it's a little different unit of mine, it's somebody maybe like a Pillin, maybe come in and buy it for simply, see what they do with the farrow, and then they get them up to weaning, and then they ice the weeds, and then they take them to a finishing house like Friesen does, old Rodney Friesen over there or something, so,
Okay,
yeah. So, you guys can,
and then on the other one, we were just visiting beforehand, but on 50 make sure I get the right numbers, 54, he's okay with the number
Yeah,
on 54.
Yeah.
That was dropped down to whatever.
yeah.
Okay, Dennis, you got anything else
Nope.
this
you guys,
afternoon?
I'm at your mercy.
Thanks, Dennis, for coming back in.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that on this list?
And Swan Tech's not coming in. Univich is not coming in.
Okay,
So I left a message with Robin.
okay. I'll just leave this is good, it is right there, all right. Okay, where was our list at here now? Randy.
Which number are we on here?
101?
101.
Yes.
Yeah, you're number 101.
Okay.
We got another list.
Okay.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Thank you.
Name and address for the record, Randy,
Randy
please.
Collingham, 1614 Road M, 550 McCool Junction.
Okay, go ahead.
My property is very unique. I actually wrote a little deal to kind of give you the gist of what has happened with it. When I purchased my home, my neighbor right next to me purchased the farm right beside me. And I had cornfields behind me and beside me. Within a month, he started plowing things up and started putting fencing up. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? He says, well, I'm building bird pens. If anybody has ever been east of McCool, down by Sachs Lake, and seen all the pheasants, this year there's going to be 1.4 million of them. In 2 years, he plans on 3 million. What a business. I mean, a great business. They're great people, too. But along with bird pens, it is literally a feedlot. So on the property valuation, how many people here would buy a property 7 foot from my edge of my property to his bird pen fencing and have to deal with the noise? Boy, they make a lot of noise. And the smell of rotting, decaying pheasants that there's no way he can pick up, because when he puts them in, they're this big. And they have all this cover crop. They have to have cover crop or they'll die. They'll just exhaust themselves. So they're in all these tall weeds. You can't fetch them out. So they sit there and they bake, and they're, you tell me, what is the difference between a hog confinement feedlot or a cattle feedlot? You know what it smells like. Bluntly, it smells like crap. What smells worse than crap? You ever smelled a deer when it's on the side of the road and it's bloated? That's a very good comparison. Now, with that in mind, this happened after I purchased my home. We came here to the courthouse, to the assessor, pre-you, Kurt, and said, is this legal to have a feedlot put within 7 feet of my property? Because I know there's setbacks for everything anymore. I was told there's nothing on the books about pheasants. Ducks, geese, chickens, turkeys, yes. But nothing on the books about pheasants. Probably never been brought up. Because guess what? Until Dustin came in, there weren't any pheasant farms in Nebraska. So I love pheasants. I'm an outdoorsman. I like seeing them running in my yard. I mean, I do. But how many people are going to actually be in a market for a place that are going to have to deal with that kind of situation right beside it? So that really tells me right off the bat. I actually had an attorney friend. Would this depreciate my land value? Absolutely. Because you're eliminating 90% of the public that aren't going to put up with that kind of stuff. And, well, I like where I live. I plan on living there as long as the good Lord lets me. But he also told me that whoever looked it up here didn't do their job. and I'm sorry for that, but that's being blunt. He said, they should not have been allowed to put that close to my property. Would I ask my neighbor today to move that to improve the cost of my house? Heck, no. I've got a great relationship with them, they're great people. I'm fond of their kids, I'm teaching one of their kids to trap, and they're just good people. I would never do that to them. But that's because I plan on living there till I can't anymore. However, would you and your family move out into the country with that situation? You don't have to answer that, because I already know the answer. So, Kurt, you did a nice thing when you dropped my valuation down after I talked to you, but I don't think it's right, because literally, my house, when I bought it, had the highest grade steel siding you could get. They don't make it that good anymore. How they used to make the good cars, good steel, now you get 4 grades thinner metal for your best siding. My insurance company would not even pay for the best ABC seamless siding on the market because it's too much money, they just wouldn't do it. Even though that 2.5 inch hail with 120-mile-an-hour windstorm we had, that's the only thing that dented that steel siding. And it dented it good. So I had to have new stuff put on. Now, I have a lesser quality. It's pretty because it's brand new, but it's LP Smart Panel. It's a product that, guess what? It's no longer maintenance free. And if you know the difference between steel siding and maintenance free, it's huge. You gotta paint your house when you don't have maintenance free. And I build homes for a living. For 44 years I've been building homes. So yes, I know that the value of the siding on my house has dropped substantially. Now if my house gets hail damage on it again and it wrecks that siding, literally 1/3 the money will be offered to replace that it was that they tried to get me to pay for steel, which I couldn't afford it. It was gonna cost me another $30,000 out of my pocket to put my house with new steel on it. And that's just the house. There's also the garage, the same way, and my little shed in the back, the same way. But it all had to be redone. So, guys, like the gentleman ahead of me, I'm at your mercy. I think you can see I've got merit. And as far as improvements inside the house, none. Yes, I've got some stuff that eventually I'm gonna get the building permit and redo all the flooring in it. It's an old farmhouse, it had all lino in it, except the living room. Well, now it has carpet in the living room, new carpet in the living room from about 2 years ago, and carpet in our bedroom. I hate cold floors in the morning. But you can understand. So it's all linoleum, and it's showing its age, and it needs to be replaced, but I'm getting prepared to do that. Other than that, I have done nothing with it. No extra buildings on the property, no extra frou-frou in the house. Really, that's all it is. To me, if it ain't the same valuation, probably there's enough merit to show that it should be less. But again, that's up to you guys. And all I'm doing is asking you to give it fair thought and come up with something a little more reasonable, because even dropping it what you did, it's still $60,000 more than it was last year. And to me, that's just like, really? Try to find somebody to buy my house for that much money? Heck, I'd probably sell it if I could make that much money off of it. But I don't want to. And again, who would buy it? Do you have any questions for me?
So you do have the new number,
Yes, I
the
do.
new total number of 175,684. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And that, so at this point in time, you still are no on that.
Yeah, I do not
Okay.
agree with that yet, no.
Okay. Other than that, I don't have any other questions for you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Randy. And you had said Swantex aren't coming in. And was Jim coming in? Do we know? Parenter.
Oh, I never got.
Kurt, did we ever hear?
He never indicated whether he was or wasn't, so.
Okay.
Clark Pickle said he could come at
Yep,
1:45.
Clark's here. So Clark, if you want to come up, you sure can. Name and address, Clark, for the
Clark
record, please.
Pickrell, name and address where I live or where the property is?
Where you live,
At
sir.
1326 McCaig Avenue, York.
Okay.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, don't wanna waste your time, you guys gotta be getting tired of this crap. It's a cabin, it's not a house. It's a one-room schoolhouse that was moved over in the 50s. It was old then, it's got a couple of small additions on it. There is no insulation in it. There is paneling on the inside of the studs. It's not a house. For it to try to triple or even double is kind of ridiculous. The value in that property is in the land. I don't see the value because that goes to the association. I don't know what they're doing there, so I let them worry about that. If I picked it up off the slab, parked it by the highway, you're not gonna buy it. 4 out of the 6 of you would probably consider it a tear down if you bought my property. So, I mean, it's a cabin. So for it to come out at 200 is high. That's all I got.
Okay, did you get the new number?
149.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you were aware
For a
of
tear
that?
down.
Because some hadn't seen them
Yeah,
yet, Clark, so
yeah.
just make sure you'd seen that.
Yep, correct.
Okay, and still, you're a no to that new number?
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah,
Okay.
you've more than
All right.
doubled it. Yes, that seems a lot to do in a year, of course, yes.
Okay, all right. Anything else to add to that?
No, I mean, it's a cabin. Neighbor's cabin has no running water and septic in it. I mean, they're not all houses out there. Some of these are cabins. So, we have 1 bathroom, it's usable,
Okay,
so.
okay, Kurt, go ahead.
1 bathroom, is it a full bath?
I mean, is there?
Like shower, sink, toilet?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a fiberglass thing that we stubbed in, yes.
Okay. You said there's no insulation?
No insulation.
Okay. And I didn't catch everything you said when you started, you were talking real.
Well, it was a one-room schoolhouse built pre-1900. It was moved over in the 50s when Saks Lake started. They have added on to it before I got in around 2000 probably. So I don't know what was done before that, but we love it, but it is what it is, so.
Okay. And then there's a garage on there too? You
We
mentioned
put a garage up in the early 2000s. It was a Menards package. And we put it up ourselves, so.
Any other information you need, Kurt?
No, if I do too, I'll give them a call.
Okay, thanks,
Thank you
Clark.
much, appreciate it.
Thank you for coming in. Steve? What number was Steve?
79,
I'm sorry.
79, I believe.
79. Name and address, Steve, please.
Steve Clutie, 135 Mitchell Street, Bradshaw.
Raise your hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you
I
God?
Floor is yours, Steve.
Okay, this is concerning the property where our business is, 2 miles east of Bradshaw. And it's concerning a building that we put up a year ago, got into it a year ago, that we spent $3 million or a little less on, and now it is valued at 4.8. I don't know why it would have gone up that much, I guess. We're suggesting 3.1 for the building itself. Land would be extra. Land we have a problem with. There's no comparables for this, of course, and we don't know why it would have gone up that much.
Is this the same one that we talked about last year, Steve, or was this a new one?
This is a different one.
A different
We
one?
just got into this one first part of last year.
Okay.
In the last email.
Yeah. Oh, this one did?
So I think they came out and had some comparables from Lincoln and Omaha. Nothing
Number 79. including
Nothing
property.
around here, I guess.
79.
Yeah, and I think if I remember right, Steve, last year when we talked about your other place, we were trying to look at Champion or something like that, because it's just hard because there is nothing else like you guys out there. Kurt, do you have any?
And that one we didn't, the original building we didn't, that was fine with what Kurt came back with. It's just this one, this seems excessive for.
Okay. Kurt, do you have any questions, or you got all the information?
Just to be clear, we're talking about the shipping and receiving building,
Correct.
correct?
The newest one isn't done yet, so we haven't seen any figures on that, so.
Yeah. Shouldn't be until it is completed.
Correct.
We do, there is, well, we initially had some value on there,
Right.
but not a lot
Right.
because it wasn't done, so.
Framework was up at the end of last
Right.
year, so.
Yeah, mine just takes forever to get down there. Okay, there we go. Okay,
So, yeah, we're just.
so the 5
we're
million,
trying
the
to-
new number, you've seen the new number?
um,
The original one was 9,
Yeah, the
Nine.
new number is 4.8.
right, for the building,
Right.
right,
For the building only,
right.
right. Which seems still.
And you're
seems-
saying that building cost you $1 million to,
It cost under 3 million.
under $3 million to construct? Okay,
So in a year, we just feel that 3.1 would be fair.
okay. Kurt, when we look at construction costs, do they figure into the mix? I mean, I know that we've talked about market analysis, we talk about, you know, cost per building. Do we look at, I mean, because that's fairly new building.
I mean, typically, I mean, you could put any number you want on a building permit. Some of the jurisdictions here in York County, some are better than others about giving information. I know you guys provided us with all of your blueprints and everything, so we were very forthcoming with information to the assessor's office. I can never say they never are, so. But
Okay,
as far as like the amount on a building permit, it is kind of,
Yeah, I think the amount on the building permit was actually just 1 million, and that, our construction GC is the one that filled that out, so I don't even know what it was. I had to call them and get a copy of it here this last week to see what it was, but
okay,
we're not trying to, you know, go low ball on anything here. We'll pay our fair share, but we just think this is a little excessive.
okay. Okay,
we do have $1 million for the building permit in our system for the shipping and receiving. The new building is 13 million that we have for amount on that one. And then also the land on this parcel as well, we talked about that this spring when we came over there to visit with you. The land right now is currently ag. For 2025, it will convert over to commercial value. But it was still kind of, as of January 1st, it was still kind of that in-betweenish area there, so.
is this one of those properties, Kurt, that we had help
Yes, Darrell Standard came and helped us.
value? Okay, okay.
And we've got the report from him, but it's, like I said, the comparables are nowhere close, so it's just, we're just going by what we spent and what we think it's valued at.
Okay. Comparables are, or do we have a copy of that too, Kurt?
I'll have to look in the office.
Okay.
I'm kind of wondering.
Comparables are out of the, in a sense, out of the region is what you'd say?
Yeah, they were, I don't know if I have a copy of it here or not. They had pictures of buildings out of, mostly out of the region, yeah. I don't have it.
Okay. Okay, do you have anything else to add, Steve?
That's all I got.
Okay. I have no other questions for you. Kurt, if you've got all the information? Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for coming in,
Thank you.
Steve. There we go. He was marked down as non-attending.
But then they call or email them if one of
Okay. That'd be fine. Room's empty.
Yeah,
You ready?
yeah.
Okay. .9.
Dalton Groats, 1008 Rodell, York, Nebraska.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help God.
Yes. We got some maps here.
109, last one at the very top.
sir.
Thank you.
Gosh, getting to the bottom of the file.
So this is a quarter of ground out southwest of York, and 10 or so acres are underwater, pretty much in most years. Even last year, we didn't get a crop off of it. And so the soils map there kind of shows where it's at. And then the FSA office, you can see the 10-acre triangle. That's the worst one. I have some comparables to the quarters around it and across the road and stuff there. And for the farmable acres, if you take all them farms by their farmable acres, that puts, you got this one valued quite a bit more. If you take the 73%, it's more than 1,000. And when I bought this place 35 years ago, this one brought 1,260 and the one north of it was 1,600. So pretty much the same farms, except mine has the water on it. And so that kind of shows you that it was worth quite a bit less at the time. And that's about it.
That is set the next number down, Kelton.
No,
The parcel that you're comparing it to. I'm on this sheet here.
Yeah, I don't know if I have that one on this one.
Okay. Yours is the highlighted one.
Mine's, yeah, the
assume.
top one. And the next one down is a mile east that has a water hole, and then the other one is catty corner in the same section. You can see that in the picture. It's this top corner one.
Okay.
The third one down. And then the fourth one down is this one right beside it.
Okay.
They don't have water holes on them. And the soils map shows you this number of ground is basically underwater most of the time.
Kurt, do you have anything on this one? Now, is this the quarter you live on? This
No.
isn't the quarter you live on,
No.
is it?
Brent lives on the one beside it.
Ah, gotcha. That acreage right there.
Mm.
I was gonna say, I was getting confused by that. Okay, I know where I'm at now. Okay, you got anything else, Dan?
No, just,
Other than you had to come in instead of Renee?
yeah.
That's not fair.
I don't blame her. I'd have better things to do right now too, tell you
Yeah,
what.
that's right.
Okay,
Thanks.
so the requested is
Pretty much back like it was last year.
okay, 1176952.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, I
Okay.
don't have anything else, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for the information too.
Yep, we'll see ya.
We did we hear from Hendrickson?
I left a message.
Okay. Yanovich, again,
They're not coming.
they're not coming.
Hendrickson, he came in to file the protest for Amy Worst of I can't remember the name of the LLC, and he's in Grand Island.
C-Tech,
No,
No, it's Amy's.
Greeny?
Greeny.
Yeah.
yeah.
So he's filing those for her, she's out of town, so, and he lives in Grand Island, so I don't know if he filed, did he schedule a time to come to the board?
Like at 3 o'clock. And I
Okay.
called him, he didn't answer the phone.
Okay.
Okay, and the Hall Stutzman, Saltzman, I'm sorry, they said they were coming yet, but it
2:30.
could be a little bit of time yet before they come. Okay. All right, Kurt, you wanna move up to the front table? Oh, I messed this one up, didn't I? That's not all right. I get in trouble. I better get that envelope where it belongs. Does anybody have any questions of Kurt, of what we've all done?
I got one, and it pertains to moving. Let me look it back up so I can quote it correctly.
I found it.
Which one was Dennis?
Dennis, which one are you looking for?
Dennis Clark.
He's 53 and 54, his ag building's 53.
So, I guess what was the rationale of changing buildings from sound valuation to calculated value? Is that-
Under the sound, from what I understand, the sound, they were just really undervalued. And it wasn't pulling any value on them. When you put them in sound value, it just kind of freezes that value at times, so it could just be, if it's put in at sound value for $1,000 in today, and you don't touch it in 30 years, it's still gonna be in for $1,000. So, I don't know the rationale of why it was put into sound value to begin with. That predates my time here. But when it's put into calculated value, then it allows the CAMA system to depreciate it as it should be, like anything else, like your house, grain bins, if they're entered in under calculated value, they'll depreciate out over time. So,
But it seems to me, just looking at Dennis's and buildings wise, when we put it back into that system under the depreciated calculated value, it's starting again at a new building state in which these are not.
right.
So I guess I got some concerns as to, yeah, I would be with him. I know we talked offline, Bolte's would be the same way, but their buildings, yeah, some of those older hog facilities are, some of his buildings are almost negative value just due to use at this point.
Would you like to see what those were last year?
I could see why a hog building would be placed in the sound value versus calculated, because they're only gonna get worse from day one. I mean, a hog building's got a short lifespan. Chicken houses, a lot of those have short lifespans just due to the type of, for what goes on in those buildings. And a lot of these older farmsteads are the same way. I mean, there's just no way to repair them economically to make them a sound structure anymore. So to me, moving them over halfway through their lives or even at the tail end of their lives is, I'm really struggling with that.
I can get you the values of those last year if you'd like.
Well, don't we have that? 471.
Right, but the individual buildings if you wanted to, because there's
Oh,
some buildings
gotcha.
on there, there's some grain bin, there's a grain bin on there that's newer. I can see if this, I can turn on the archive from last year on
We're gonna have some difficult ones, like Mr. Clutie too,
Mhm.
that, you know, how do we come up with an evidence-based number to say, yeah, this is what we think it's worth?
Right.
Especially, like with Mr. Clutie, if that, you know, if we have confidence in the hiring Daryl, and then he comes up with this high number, and then we say, no, we don't think that's right, I mean, we shouldn't be hiring him anymore.
Right.
Which, may or may not happen, but
Well,
how,
you're-
how do we come up with a number?
And that's true, because, so say Steve decides to shut his doors and walk away from it. That building probably sells on the market for who knows what.
Right.
Is it dollar for dollar, is it 50 cents on the dollar?
Yeah, who knows?
Depending on the availability of industry to come in to fill it, that's your point, is a hard one. I know there's some bigger warehouse spaces, one particularly in Aurora that I was aware of. The cost of build was $700,000. They couldn't get anyone to buy it for over $3. So what's that building really, what's it truly worth now? If we could figure out if we knew what the exact cost of build was and he was good with that, that's probably the most accurate number. Because it's industry that's there, that's viable, and that's what it was worth for his business to put it in. But I'm not gonna go to him and ask for every receipt on what he spent on that building either.
Well, and I think he was pretty forward with what he said, he
Right.
had to go ask himself,
Yeah,
you know, because the 1 million, well, obviously they went way over the $1 million building permit, to do it. And I think they've been pretty good to work with. I mean, like you said, they've been bringing us stuff. I know that, you know, they had concerns last year too, and we walked and talked through it because we went, like I said, Champion seemed to be the one we found and said, well, this is what they're rated at, so, there, so you, right back to the hog barns. I mean, you know, I've got 721,000. Now, I suppose if you was to build those completely, you'd have that or more in it, but, you know,
Sure.
like you said,
yeah.
they're not brand
They
new.
deteriorate from day one.
Even concrete in those things,
Yeah.
they just can't hold up. So when we look at those those ag buildings, hog buildings, when he asked the question about what's the depreciation, how do we answer that?
We have it,
For-
it's built in the table here. Let me,
And that's why I'm wondering, Kurt, if it got moved into the category it did due to the fact that the use case of that doesn't fit the norm.
right, because it
Well, 'cause I'm sure they don't have a table for hog confinement
was built
buildings.
in 87.
Excuse me for asking this, but the building, if a hog confinement building isn't the idea, it's the product in it that makes the money.
Correct.
So how do you judge that? However many hogs they've got in their building to set a value on the land or on the building? Because the building can cost anything, but it depends on what the product is
it's
inside of
clear.
it. How
Well,
many you have.
those buildings are all spec'd on cost per head space.
Yeah.
Is how they discuss those. But that's new. And so establishing a value when that happens is one thing, but changing them midstream when they're,
The way we have it in the system here, if you would have built that last year, you would have depreciated 3%. In 1 year, 3%. So we're looking at,
30 years,
that was built in 87.
33 years.
so, personal business of mine, I've looked into putting up buildings for mash house and pillins both contractors I worked with said a 15-year max on a hog confinement.
Those metal siding things, yeah.
Well, even the wood frame one, the concrete and wood frame ones, 15 years. And then you're replacing half the concrete, you're replacing all the framing and whatnot.
Here was last year, values on those.
And the bins were up last year too. Didn't he say the bins been
I
up for a
think so,
couple of years?
yeah.
Yeah, the bins are,
Even if they lasted 20 years, it'd still be 5% a year.
one green bin was put up to 22.
My husband appreciated it, he freaking appreciated it.
It did. I'll guarantee you it did, because we sold our house in Nebraska for twice as much as we bought it for 10 years later. And I don't know how, because all we did was paint it 3 times.
Kurt, you got a sheet that shows what the system valued them at today.
Today?
And that side,
I don't have that right now.
I just went through that shit with mine.
So,
Companies quit making stuff, so you have to buy it. That's
That's
a siding company thing. Have you seen what shapes are there? It is thin. Remember Dr. Oceans?
Well, I see that, when I built my house, there was only 2 things I wanted, brick and shaped shingles. The first year.
You hear what
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
saying? You could?
Shaped shingles. The insurance company.
Oh, you were reading
Came
lips.
back and said, "You can't get shaped
I
shingles."
say, I know my hearing's bad, but it ain't bad.
I come up and said, well,
You did.
we'll put, good
Okay.
asbestos shingles on there for you. They didn't cost anywhere near what that shaped.
Happens when you work
That's
close
right.
together.
Apparently,
And the lady to put them on.
That's right.
apparently.
Because it takes a lot longer to put them on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I got that.
Wanted it for a reason, yep.
So what Andy is asking is, it's valued at a different way. Is there any way of plugging that into and changing the way it's valued?
I can, let me, if we want to come back to this next time, we certainly can. I'll get back with my Kansas folks and see
And then about 3 years.
how we can do that, or we just,
yeah, because there's some of those buildings that I would say today are probably about, this number here is probably what they really are valued, should be valued at. But there's some value in some of those newer buildings still,
right,
in
and,
my opinion, but
and some of those things just got added onto, and so it's
correct.
trying to grab the year's value from each edition as well, so.
Is there any way to, to me, a lot of these buildings hit some lifespan and that's when they went over to sound value.
Yeah, I don't know, I'll check with the,
To me, that's what it's looking like. With the exception of, these newer ones, that doesn't really wash, I guess. But yeah, hog building built in 1979, it's probably got 0 value.
Zero value. My grandpa was hog building.
But if it's a building that's still in use, it's still gotta have some
It's
value.
gotta have some value, but
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if it's being utilized, it's gotta have some value to it.
yeah, if it's just sitting there empty, I probably have no problem putting no cost on there, and it
well,
just be,
are any of them sitting empty? I don't know.
it sounds like they're all being used.
Okay.
So you hang on to that, I got.
Okay, and
If you let me.
you're gonna get some numbers for that.
It's new numbers on that one.
As far as the, Clutie, let's go ahead and tackle the other tough one here. How do we come up with an evidence-based best? I mean, that
Yes.
does sound like it's up there, I know.
For who?
Clutie, Inc.
I did put an obsolescence on that building as well, not including properties, both of them, for location. Because that's one thing they've stressed, like you were talking about too. You know, they're out in the middle of the county out there.
Right, because, I mean, when Daryl grabbed comparables, if it's sitting on 56th Street in Lincoln, not to say it is, but if it is, it's vastly different than
It's worth a lot more
sitting in
than it's out
between,
here.
yeah.
I guess,
All 56 is-
what's the warehouse building that is in town here? The one,
Champion Homes is the only
X-
big building out there.
well, no,
XPO or
The,
whatever it is.
right next to CBA's headquarters to the
Yeah,
south, to the north.
that's basically Cortiva owns it, it's a big storage.
Right, I know what it is, but
Stuff
what's
comes
the
in and out,
value on
yeah.
that?
She called, she's leaving now, should be here in about half an
That's
hour.
fine, that's fine.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Thank you.
What are you looking for, Andy?
The Cortava building just on the north side of CBA's
Where the
headquarters,
Seagull
across
comes
from
in and out.
Acres.
North Lincoln up there?
Yeah, right across from Fitness Works or whatever it is.
But at Clutie's, they're producing things. Oh, we're talking about the shipping and
Yeah, this
receiving.
We're talking about the shipping and receiving.
Oh, yeah,
That
that
would be a
would be
very
good.
similar
Yeah, that'd be
comparable,
very
in my
similar.
opinion.
That would be.
Because I don't know what square footage comparables are.
Mhm.
I do know that building up there is heated and cooled, where I'm sure theirs is
Yep.
probably heated. Kurt would know that.
I have a niece that says it's not exactly heated and cooled. They go sit in the cooler to cool off during the middle of the summer because it doesn't
Go
prepare the
through.
whole building yet.
Gotcha.
It's which way in the CBA?
Just
office?
north, it's on the north across the street from Fitness Works. It's not Corteva that it's under, it's,
There's a different name out there on that sign.
Like egg parts,
no,
Really Income Prop 25 LLC?
Pioneer.
that might be it. It's something.
It's a number, it's
My
a
map.
name the Pioneer made up.
That one?
Yeah. no.
Is there any other shipping?
Does your Sam map plug?
It's taken it a while.
What is, what
Mine
is
is,
the
mine is not.
nutrition building out there? That's a new
Nutrition
building.
services, that would essentially be a shipping, receiving, warehousing facility.
Yeah,
I'm sure
Out
it's
on
not
the-
near as big,
Right.
No.
Yeah.
but if you took it and multiplied by the
yeah.
size, 1.5 times,
You want a value on that one?
Yeah, what's that, what do they got?
9
I guess,
million?
how does that building, in your opinion, compare with Clutie's? I guess you know the specs and stuff, we
I
don't.
don't know that
how
exactly.
much is that building?
I would say that
valued
one,
at?
I'd say the one in town is probably a little bit bigger.
Bigger than that shipping and receiving building that Clutie's has,
Right.
that's for sure.
9.3
And what's that
million.
one valued at?
It's, the building itself is valued at $9,391,570.
That was last
I think
year's.
last year what we did was, didn't we figure out square footage?
I think so.
Square footage on one, square footage on the other, figured out value on both
Yep.
and came up with that.
This building has square footage of 249,900 square feet.
Nutrition services is 2.07 million.
Square footage is,
See, they are valued for a while.
that one's bigger than I think.
Warehouse, 30,400. And office of 3,000, so 33,400 square feet.
And what did they tell us Sukup was? Wasn't Sukup 40,000 when we was
Yeah,
out there?
that'd be another one.
How big is Clutie's?
This one that's, you were asking about the, like Corteva or whatever, that one square footage, it comes out to 37.58 per square foot. All right. I'm sorry, Randy, what were you asking
How
about?
big is Clutie square footage? Does that say on there?
There are two comparables for shipping and receiving.
Well, I know me and Daniel went to the Sukup, and that was 40,000, and it's predominantly all, there's some office space up front,
Little
but it's
bit.
predominantly,
It would be.
Yep. That's another one. Yeah, big places close.
but I don't know, when did that get finished? Did it get finished last year?
Probably not.
Never
Probably
been
got
finished
finished
this
last
year.
month.
No, it was finished this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no value on it.
Yep.
Okay,
Currently.
Clutie shipping and receiving
my
building.
lawnmower basketball, they were building it every day. That's why I love that.
Square feet on that one is 85,000.
So it's a third the
324.
size. 3-point-something million.
Someone asked about another building square footage.
We were looking at the nutrition services out by the
It's pretty good
interstate.
comparable.
Yeah.
By the interstate?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So 3.1's probably, they're probably right on the nose.
What's that?
It's so
If
the,
you compare square feet to Corteva, their building, they're 3.2. But Corteva's is cooled as well. So 100,000 less for that much difference in cooled airspace.
What did you figure out what it was per square foot?
Yeah,
37.
3758,
Right, but what was the other one then? What was Clutie's?
Clutie's
85, 300
square feet.
square feet.
Yeah, but what was it per square foot?
Oh,
I don't know, that's
Oh,
why
okay.
I took what
right.
per
So
square
if we
foot that
look
was.
at-
He said what they're paying per square foot, it is per square foot out there.
I thought
and
you had
applied
theirs
to their
pulled up,
square
yeah.
footage.
Oh, I do, I haven't ran it back against that.
What are,
But
so the recommended,
That's $8.46 a square foot, double. Not quite, but more than double.
$80?
Yeah,
Because we had 37 on the other.
$84, sorry.
On Clutie's.
Yeah. At Kirk's recommended rate. What is the dollar figure on
You're looking at nutrition services.
So that if we was to input, seeing how you got yours pulled up, if we was to
If we were to use
turn
it,
Clutie's 85, 384 just to 40.
3.3,
Does Clutie 70 raise docks, or are they all just flat like these guys out here?
I think it's drive-through. Flat
Just drive
top.
through, flat? Okay.
it's 3.4.
And he was asking for 3.1.
I think 3.1 is pretty fair if you compare it to the Corteva building that's got more amenities
Yeah.
to it.
Mhm.
They got,
The nutrition services is like 65, I think.
but that includes a 3,000 square foot office.
Correct.
The shipping and receiving building has an office on it too. Little one, let me see here.
10 by 10, sign here.
I believe so does the Corteva building.
Sign here.
And then the other one comes to mind is Waco.
Which one?
Yeah,
Oh,
the as
Popcorn place there.
being, you know,
Well, it's a big building.
Warehouse.
yeah, well, it's a huge building. It's
Yeah.
chopped up really, really bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's been added on to.
Oh my
over the
gosh.
years.
That's 7 buildings slammed into one.
Come back, go this way.
but it might give you a good ballpark,
Yeah.
Idea.
For square footage, yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, what else do we got to go by?
right, exactly.
Well, that's the fourth, that'd be the third comparable
Yep.
for the county. And there's no docks there, there's limited office space on the front side.
Right.
The Lego building?
Right.
Yeah, they have a few raised docks there, but,
Yeah, raised docks, they do.
not many places you can just drive right in.
And we couldn't use the Cortiva building, that's their main building, because that's a production building, not just a shipping and receiving.
Right. They don't
And
have
we've
that.
got them with the production building too, so keep them separate for sure.
Well,
Because they got two separate buildings.
out
right?
here at Cortiva, at the production plant, that one building, isn't that all shipping and receiving? Just to the very east side?
Yes.
I believe that's all shipping and
It's all
receiving there
shipping,
too.
receiving.
Gresham.
It's all shipping. The only, well, they do receiving there too, I guess.
The Calv on the Gresham corner too.
Yeah, that'd be another good,
Mm-hmm.
but I doubt that's parceled off separate. It might be.
One part of it.
Did Daryl go look at those too, Kurt? When Daryl came, did he
Back in
come and look at?
22, he probably did.
Okay, this year he did not.
No. No, we looked at, the reason that he was out here to look at, Cludy's is because they had a building permit, so it's just a part of our regular permit work that we did this year, so.
Can you get us a copy of what he was talking about? You know, like what he used for comparables?
Look for that.
The southwest building's a fair bit lower, looks like.
What's the ag products building there? Is that in one parcel?
We did look at that one too last year.
Old Champion, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that one's, as you say, kind of butchered up too.
It's split in
Boy,
half.
Sam is just not playing nice today.
Oh, my map never did load. So those are gonna be two of the harder ones. I guess I think. It sounds like we have another issue, in the McCool area that
Yeah.
we need to visit with Nate about.
Yep.
The animal units are animal units.
Right, exactly.
As far as I know,
Not
it's,
considered, like, the problem is it's considered avian fencing. Because it's a portable, it's not permanent. No, he shouldn't be able to put them up there, but yeah, we have to have something in our zoning that differentiates a bird fence from a fence.
but I think that there's a number
Yeah.
on animal units.
If you have
So-
Potentially.
confined,
Animal units are like, it might be 100 birds to one cow, but we have numbers, and I don't have my zoning books
But our
with me.
pheasants, I don't think pheasants are classed in any of that.
Are
Well, I think
the
it's
birds
just
defined in the
fowl.
zoning? Are birds just chickens and
I
turkeys?
think we
I don't know.
listed in our zoning as
It's
fowl.
foul.
So many fowl units equals one,
It is
Animal
foul.
unit.
animal.
Oh, it is.
It is foul, so if you have foul, it's
I
good.
think
Pheasant
that's
is
how
foul.
it's read.
I just wonder how they're defined in the rules and regs.
Did they ask anyone before they? did
No,
it?
that's the problem.
And I did check, they're in the
Yeah,
county zoning
I was the only one
jurisdiction.
that went, what?
Oh, yeah.
Well, definitely the ones that talk today, yes. The first one, Mr. Hoffman, is
He's distraught.
4 or 5 miles out in the country.
Mhm.
Well, it's been there this long, it's the first time we've heard of this
Mhm.
Well,
coming up.
he filed a complaint earlier this year,
Okay.
and he did talk to county attorney's office about it.
Zoning office.
So we gotta get an update on that, but, we hear it 2-3 times now. I think we need to look into that.
Well, I didn't realize closing a road due to the avian flu outbreak.
I know, yeah, I
That's-
didn't,
I
that
never
was
heard
news to me.
about that before.
Well, when he had that, and then they had to be terminated,
Yeah.
the road was closed then, but I don't know that.
Really?
It wasn't closed.
I know,
Long term.
how extensively was that closure? Was it a day or?
It took a couple, 3 days to kill, because they'd put them in a shed
They
and,
gas them all?
no, foamed them.
Oh, they foamed them.
company out of Oklahoma.
So, okay, so it does not say fowl. Animal unit, beef animal, beef dairy calf, young dairy stock, dairy cow, horse, swine, sheep, goat, chicken/game birds, which in my
Game birds?
opinion,
A
a
pheasant,
pheasant
exactly
would be a game bird, turkey and ostrich.
You have to get a license to shoot it, it's a game bird.
Alright, I would think that a game bird. that
So
it would fall
what's
under
the
game.
animal unit on that?
100 birds is one
Unit.
animal unit.
They're talking about getting $1 million to $3 million.
So if there's 20,000 right across, what's the setback on animal unit would be,
Right.
what, 100,000 would be,
Be 2,000 animal units.
right,
Yeah.
and that's gotta be a half mile. Close to it, I mean, no, probably not, feed yard, quarter mile.
Well, usually these birds are in a confined building, so you can, there's a little bit more control over.
Well, that's where I think,
Odor, but
that's
yeah,
where I
like you
think
said, it's different.
they think the loophole is, and what I thought the loophole was, is that they're just in nets. And their building is the cover crop, so to speak.
They're almost free range, really.
Yeah,
But they're not.
they're
Without
not,
the fence,
no,
you know,
but
they're
They're
fenced
in a
in.
cage. They cannot get away.
Cows are in a pen, open air,
yeah,
a couple strands of
it's
wire.
the same deal.
Dan Bromstad's dad used to do it for University of Nebraska, but they only gave him like 3 dozen at a time to do, to raise, and then they came and got them and took them where they wanted to release them. He did it all the time, but he had 3 dozen.
Well, that's a conversation we'll have with
Had 10.
another office. Okay,
Should be here shortly.
yep.
Washington isn't that far away.
How do we want to proceed forward, guys? We've got some that say okay.
Right, so do we wanna just take all of those and approve the ones that have gave the assessor? the
Do you
okay?
have that list?
I got the files right in front of me.
You wrote them down as he said it.
I did too.
I just marked them on their thing, on the paper. I think
Is it separate? That's a separate list. He has more though, I think, too, then.
Yeah, I just had the ones you just went over with earlier.
I'm ready to move forward on the Smontech properties today, the Zeng properties. There's another person that filed a bunch of protest, Cool, I believe is the last name. That would knock out a bunch of them as well.
Deborah, cool. I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you have the list of everybody that has seen the assessment and said okay. And do you have them by number?
I have my number, name, and parcel number here.
Okay, would you like to
Protest, you want me to start that, or?
read off the number?
Okay, protest number 1, Glen Coffee. And what do you want read?
We don't need, I mean, I don't think we need, I just would like a number, because if we make a motion, we'll have to include all
You just
that.
want the total valuation? Is that what
Thank
you mean?
you.
Like, that's the number you want? Okay.
Yeah, well, the number of the parcel.
Right, okay.
Not the long number, but it's
Number
as
of
it
the
listed, like,
protest?
yes, number of the protest.
Protest number 1, Glen Coffee. My recommendation is that his value be $330,730 total value.
Okay. Keep going?
Do you want us to act on these each
We can, if you want to do just one
individually?
motion on all of them, you certainly.
Yeah,
can.
let's do-
Okay,
let's-
all right,
Let's do that.
let's do then Cole.
Oh,
All right.
I made
Yep, good.
she rushed
You're
in.
good.
Get out of your way.
I don't know where you want me.
You're gonna end up right up front here.
Okay.
We were just doing something different while you weren't here.
Now, are you Kathy or Cheryl?
I'm Kathy,
You're Kathy Hall?
yes.
Okay,
And I can, well, I don't know if I have the legal right to represent Cheryl. Cheryl is in the nursing home in Legacy Square, so she can't be here,
okay.
so.
Anybody can file a protest on any parcel, so it's her protest that she filed. so
Okay,
she's-
all right. So this is 106 and 107, guys. I'm gonna need name and address for the record, please. Name and just your address.
Catherine L. Hall, 530 Gilbert, Blushton Village, Henderson, Nebraska 68371.
Thank you.
Hannah, raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna start on yours first. I believe that's 106.
Right.
So go ahead.
Oh, okay. So first of all, what I want to state is that there are 2 dwellings on that property, and Ann Charlton changed it in either 2016 or 2017. And I have it here. It was a cottage. I care for my sister who has a disability, and so we created a breezeway, which we connected. We put a north and a south wall and a roof, so she can't get out. I mean, she has early onset Alzheimer's, so that was the reason that we did that. And I believe that this, I'm not sure how you got to the valuation from 90-some thousand dollars to 219,000. 94,440, and you went to 219,070 cents, or $70. So that's my question, first of all. How did it get to that amount? Who came up with that? I know that it's a supposedly a computer program that has valued our properties. So I have the paper here in front of me. In 2017, Ann had added a second dwelling, and that's when we built the cottage for my sister. And it was just a patio in between our 2 homes. Prior to 2021, we finished it in October, the breezeway. And I paid Ann a visit on, she corrected my valuation change in 2018 because there are homes larger than mine in Lushton Village. Mine is really long, but there wasn't anything that changed. I mean, we attached the garage, and then we had the addition from, or the space from where the garage was to the house. So there were no bedrooms added. A living room was taken away for the bedroom, and then the space between the garage and the where the existing house was is the living area. So I don't know how they came up with this amount and why mine is more. I don't know about, I don't have addresses of Balabans, Batriels, or Salzman's, the square footage. But I know that's what Ann Charlton was looking at back in 2018, and she reduced my property valuation at that time.
Okay. Well, to answer your first question, I mean, I think you ask who or what method, it'd be the
Right.
assessor's office comes up with the valuation
Right.
number. And then it's up to this board to try to figure out if it's equal or fair for you. So, on that one, there was do you have the new okay, the new number was the same as the other one, right, Kurt? The 219,070, I'm using the overall number, 219,070.
That's what the initial value was.
And
My recommendations don't change.
that's your recommendation, is that? And that's done basically off square footage, is what she's asking, Kurt?
Yep, square footage, condition, grading. Looking at last year, the condition was below normal last year. The grade was 6 minus 20. So grade is, you start at 1, that's your highest grade, and 6 is your lowest grade. And you have the pluses and minuses around each one, so you can kind of get closer to an actual value. So actually, this house was graded lower than probably most ranch-style homes, well below most ranch-style homes. I would not agree with that grade. I don't know if we have a lot of buildings graded that low in the county to begin with. So that was, I'm just looking at the property record card last year. And the condition was below normal. So changing those grades, the grade then went from a 6 minus 20 to a 4. And 4 is middle of the road for most style homes like Mrs. Hall's here. And then the condition was put to normal condition because it's, I'd say it's normal. It's not, I don't think it's run down, but it's not, you know, an extravagant finish on it either. It's just a very normal ranch style home.
Right.
So
Well, that's because we did work from the tornado damage that we had 2 years ago.
So that's where we account for some of that value increase there, is the
His grade and
grade and
condition
condition.
was lower than what you thought it should be.
Right.
Okay. Is that, do you see what he's saying there?
Yeah, I understand where
Okay.
it's coming from. 6 is low, 4 makes it higher value, right?
Right,
It goes, yeah, the higher the number, the lower the value,
right,
correct?
right.
Okay, right.
So, in his opinion, and I would probably have to agree with that, if we have some that are graded that low, why were they that low? I mean, because, you know, it's not, by the picture I have, it doesn't look like a bad place by any means, you know, so
Well, it's
the
not a
grade
bad
should be, that's probably where that bigger jump came from, I would assume. And I don't have any of the other comparables to there in town other than, you know, another one was filed, there in town, but I don't have any other comparables from Lushton. Do you have any other comparables from Lushton, of other places in Lushton?
That are bigger than my home?
Well, just comparable to your place.
I don't know, I'm probably the only, well, I can't say the only ranch style because there are other ranch style homes there. I don't know, I keep my home in pretty good condition. I take pride in my home. So I'm thinking that in order for it not to be graded so high, you might as well let it be run down. I mean, I don't understand the whole point of this valuation. We work our butts off all our life. And I come out here after my husband passed away and built this home with the money that he left me. And so, I mean, it fluctuates all the time. Why does it keep changing? Why does the value of your house keep changing? It's not the same as it was starting out in 2016 when it was completed. So it's fluctuated back and forth, but this amount, and you can't tell me that this doesn't affect our property taxes, because it does. And the problem is the spending, not the valuation of our property. It's the government, the body spending money. And that's what Jim Pillen was saying too. That you gotta get a grip on the spending. You know, the taxpayers, we fund everything.
I agree,
It's not okay.
I agree. Spending
Spending's
is
out of
services.
control. Yeah.
You know, I mean, and people want the spending to go down and go away, but yet they don't want the services to go down or go
Right.
away. So it's kind of your individual boards have got to make that decision of what is right and what is wrong. As far as the value on the house of the 219, if you was just looking at that place, you know, land and house, would you say that it's not worth 219, or if you was to sell it, you wouldn't be able to get
I
219
don't
out of it?
believe for 1 minute anybody would pay that price in Lushton. We have nothing there. We have a grain elevator, trucks going by constantly. There's nothing, the only reason I'm there is because that's where my parents were. And that's where we were gonna retire, my husband and I.
Okay,
Because there's no businesses. We have nothing. We have a church. We have the grain elevator, which created chaos, dirt, noise, traffic.
so you're requesting 92,460 is what I have in front of me.
Right. That was prior to, that's what it was in 2022. See, all of the, that's why I got these notices out today, because everything, I mean, sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. So how does that work? Like, in 2017, the prior value was $88,000, and that's when a second dwelling was added, and so it went to $97,50. 2018, it went from, well, Ann had changed it from $97.50 because it had gone up to $112,417, and she brought it back down to $89. And that's because she was looking at other properties in Lushton that was bigger, larger than mine, square footage wise, and said that mine shouldn't have been at that amount. So that's why I'm puzzled as to why the valuation changes so much from year to year. Like sometimes, I mean, it goes down and it goes up.
But typically it doesn't go down, unless something's happened or somebody manipulates the grade or condition to make it less.
Right.
You know, and I'm assuming that's what happened with the prior, is that it was manipulated, and that's why you probably ended up with a grade and condition that was lower than what it is. I would, that's my assumption. And then
What
you.
year was that?
Well, in 2019, it was, prior was 90,866, and current went to 90,665. But then I have, so then 2023 is, so I couldn't find 2020. I have 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2023. On 2024 now. But so in 2023, prior was 92,460 and it went to 94,440. So the only time that it really went down without Ann was in 2019.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why it did that.
There had been a hailstorm event or something that would have made the grade go down at that time.
I don't think so. I know, the only damage I've ever had to my home is the tornado 2 years ago. That really took a big hit.
Was that 2019 after you had come in and talked to Ann?
Yes, she had changed, well, she changed it in 2018. She has the corrected amount on here. So 2018 was, but that's when she added the second dwelling, the cottage, because the cottage wasn't there prior either. But that, I guess that's for both of our houses. I mean, the cottage has a separate light, utility, it's separate. The only thing that connects us is the breezeway, and that was for safety issues.
Okay. Is the cottage the one that's Cheryl's?
No, the cottage, Cheryl's is a mobile home.
Cheryl's is a whole different
Yeah.
one. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so the two I'm just gonna read you the number again. The
Okay.
219,070 is what the assessor is recommending.
Right.
And that you don't agree to that number whatsoever.
I don't believe for 1 minute anybody would come into that town and offer me that amount of money
Okay.
for that. It's not a big house, it's a long house, but, you know, with being where it is. You know, I'm in the middle of cornfields.
Yeah.
There's nothing out there. Henderson is the closest city that has some, Henderson or McCool, and they
Right.
have banks and post offices and schools. So, I mean, if someone wanted to come out there, I don't know. I highly doubt it. I wouldn't invest again there for that amount of money. I would use it someplace else.
Okay.
Probably a mobile home, I mean, a motor home.
There you go.
Where I could go wherever and call it home, right?
Do you have any other information regarding yours?
No,
Okay.
No.
So let's move to Cheryl's,
okay,
and which would be number 107.
right. Okay, so Cheryl's mobile home is a 1997, it was a Dutch-made mobile home and was moved there. And she had her insurance, maximum insurance is for $35,000. And she had extensive damage to it when we had the tornado a couple of years ago.
Okay.
We did the outside, but nothing on the inside is done. The land that it's on is not her land. So.
There's zero value on the land
Right,
here.
Right.
So we're talking only improvements or building on this one, and that's 46,726, 46,726. And what year of mobile home was that again?
1997.
1997, okay.
But if you find me somebody that would give me that amount of money for that mobile home, I'll take it.
You'll take it?
For Cheryl.
Yeah, because she's not there anymore.
No, she's not there. She's in the nursing home right now. My hope was, we were in the process of having it redone for a handicap situation, so she could be in her home and have home health care. Then the tornado came, and being where we are out there, I couldn't even get anybody to my house until a year later to do my roof. You just can't get people to come out there in a remote area, contractors. Plus there was storms, I mean, it was so widespread that year.
Right.
So everything was just put on hold. And I cared for her and I cared for my other sister. And so I ended up putting her in Legacy Square over in Henderson for respite care. And then we just kept her there because I still had my other sister. It was too much after a while. So.
Kurt, on mobile homes like that, are they considered the same?
We've been grading those at like a 5+10, so below your normal grading. With the new pricing costing manual this year, mobile homes all went up. So that's one thing we're gonna talk to Cam about is, you know, why the increase for the mobile homes and that, so.
Okay.
Well, plus
But yeah, we don't have it graded like the other residents she was talking about.
Okay. So on that one, is there going to be a conversation yet this week, or?
There can be if you'd like.
Well, I mean, if they can give a better reason why that jumped up.
Yeah, hers went from 28 something, I think it was. I don't have that one.
28,666.
Right.
Right,
To
to
this. And
46.
plus at first, Kurt, when I came in to do the protest, he said that they had this listed as being in York. So instead of Lushton, so that would, you know, maybe make it more.
That wouldn't change the value per se, but it would certainly change the tax district you're in and the taxes you're paying. Because then and if it was listed in York Res, then it's paying the York City taxes, the York Public School taxes, versus out where you're at, then it's in the right tax district. So yeah, it doesn't affect the value, just the taxes.
Do you have anything else today?
I do not.
Okay. I don't have anything else for you.
Okay.
We'll take your testimony into consideration when we're figuring this out, and we'll probably make a decision on it in our next meeting, the 23rd.
Thank you for waiting for me.
Well, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for coming.
Short notice.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it. Do we have plenty of mobile home parks.
We have plenty of mobile homes.
You didn't answer this call.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
Oh, okay. So given,
And every assessor in every county gripes about putting value on those things.
On mobile homes.
yeah, because they do decrease in value after about the 10th to 15th.
Kind of like a hog building?
You can't.
Is that what you were, I beat you to it, did I?
And here's the
You said it, I
reasoning, because parts of them become unfixable because they just deteriorate. Just like the hog building, the usage you cannot fix. It's not a framed building.
Don't you have to license a trailer?
It's not a framed building.
Yeah, they're,
Like a vehicle?
they have a
So,
bid, they have a title.
Up to 10 years, they hold their value really good, and then after that,
They go down.
You
value just goes like this.
you don't have to license them, Jack, but you do have to get a title for it. And, yeah,
Tell us, Kelly.
and some people, they get rid of the title on those mobile homes. That's called an affidavit of
They have
fixture.
to file it with the registry.
And so they
It's
take all the components of the
That's what I
mobile home
mean,
and make
yeah.
it mobile,
It's not mobile.
and then it becomes real estate.
Right,
This
that
is not mobile.
We have some of those cases right
It
now. where-
was
whole basement.
28, I think.
I'll tell you what, you
I
go
think
to
it
Phoenix,
was
you find some
42.
fancy.
So very comparable then.
It's a
They got
2000.
2 air conditioners on the roof.
97, 2000.
I've got,
Real close.
I know
And
people
close,
that got
I
fifth
guess
wheels that are
in
nicer than
dollar
my
amount.
house. Oh, yeah.
Is it,
Right.
depending on size.
Size, yeah.
Yeah. And it's a fifth wheel.
Okay, Kurt, you ready to go through numbers again? We
Yep.
got Glen Coffee,
All right.
number 1.
Okay, Ben Cole, his is protest number 12, and that is for a total of $684,519.
These are people that said, okay.
Yes. And do you want me to separate out improvements from land, or you just want the total?
Total.
Okay. Number 14 is Steve Gherkin, and I'm gonna give you the breakdowns on that one, because it was wrong on the form I gave you. Land, 22,500. Improvements, 269,334, for a total of 291,834. Protest number 16, Troutman's. That total value is 104,275.
That was Troutman. What was the first name on that?
Bradley and Teresa. Teresa came in 2 weeks ago.
What number was it?
16.
16.
Okay.
Number 19, Ort, James. That is 1,105,556. Protest number 37, Dakota Pitts. Total value is 272,012, 272012.
What was that last name again?
Dakota Pitts on the not attending today's list, number 37.
There we go. P.I.T.
Not attending.
Okay.
Number 38, Patty Grove, Rex. That total value is 193,373. Number 40, Sheffield, 301,847. Number 43, Steve Ebner. He has 2, 43 is his first one. $1,380,235. Number 44 is also Steve Hebner. And that one is $186,981. Number 50 is Don Rocks Investments, LLC. That total value was $130,879. Number 74, Oberly Dean. That total is $371,520. Number 75, McGowan Steve. That total is $421,812. Number 76, Schmidt Grant, Fairway Farms, Inc. That total comes to $730,204. Number 92, Mertz James. That total comes to $117,481. And that, just FYI, was a mobile home that was turned into a residence-ish. Number 102, Clark Marcia. Total is $255,390. Protest number 103, Clark Ron. That is $261,736. Protest number 108, Klassen Frederick. That value is $175,020. He was the gentleman that was in here.
Right.
I received an email right before you convened here from protest number 48. Ron the Rock. And that's $146,055.
She said,
She said she was fine. Thank you for listening to this concerned property owner. Please cancel our appointment. There's some autocorrect in there, I think that message. Yeah, 146,055.
And you have a couple more. I had, on my sheet here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 other ones that said okay.
Who's that? Oh, yes.
Number 32 and 33.
Yep, Raymond and Marilyn White. So 32, White, Raymond. Their total is $62,042. Number 33 is also Raymond White. And that total is $591,901. Protest number 49, Anderson Todd. total is $446,778.
Pat, did you have 36?
36.
Brian Berger? Bergen, I'm sorry.
Yes.
36.
Yeah.
Yep, his total, I'll give you the land total, 36 Bergen. His improvements changed to 248,062. And his total is 272,842.
You got 23.
Rental?
No, 23 total.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
There's 54 also.
Yeah, Dennis Clark was in,
He was okay with 54, but not 53. Did I get that right? Got the
Yes.
numbers? Okay.
Because the bigger number ones.
Yeah, yeah.
So then that'd be 24 total that are okay.
we just need to hear the number on 54. Yeah.
I'm looking for that one. It's out of order. You're out of order.
Well, that's a quarter of them.
Yeah.
And your point is?
Dennis Clark, 563,030.
Not on this list, though.
It's hiding.
Is that off of that number, though? The 111?
111 is yep, that's the total.
Okay. Well, this is the highest number we've had since I've been,
Yeah.
Since when?
I've never had this.
since I've been involved.
Well, it's always been like that.
You are welcome, Mr. Chairman. And you got the 54?
Yep.
Okay.
What's the number for the 54?
$563,030.
See, you said the insurance officer, that file would have been inside another file, we wouldn't have found it for months till we pulled the other file.
I would make a motion to accept the assessor's recommendations on said protest numbers.
You want to read them off?
You want me to?
I do.
Okay. Can I see your list?
In order. My list bounces because we bounced.
Protest number 1, 12, 14, 16, 19, 37, 38, 40, 43, hold on, 32, 33, 36, now back up to 43, 44, 49, 50, 54, 74, 75, 76, 92, 102, 103, and 108.
Thank you.
Did I get them all that you had written down?
24?
I think I got them all.
Yeah. Is there a second?
Second. Oh, Jack gets second.
Leroy's getting seconds away now. Any other discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead.
There was some talk last meeting about looking at going back to the 2008 manual for all those that were assessed on the 2020 manual. There's people that took that out of the meeting from the recording and some conversations that came out of that, so did not file protests, waiting to hear how that was gonna come out. Now, Kurt, where are we at with looking at Are we still looking at doing that?
That's gonna be up to you guys, how you want to handle that. We have two options right now. It's, I have all those properties on the over-under list ready to go. The other one, and I haven't heard back from the property tax administrator yet today, because she's in and out of the office. I wanna make sure that whatever we do, that we don't create another equalization issue by doing something else, you know what I mean?
'Cause my concern is there's people that think we are that are under the opinion that we're waiting to hear if we're gonna do that or not, and may in fact file protest if we do not.
Okay.
Particularly around some farm ground issues and a couple other housing issues I've heard that are mainly, there again, all these issues seem to be coming out of that area where we use 2020
Right.
manual,
Right.
for the most part.
From what I understand, when Turk looks at these petitions, they may take into consideration the action the board has already taken on protests and just leave those alone, so those parcels will be left alone, but then then make those adjustments on the remaining parcels in that class or subclass of property.
So making a motion on, or us taking action on this will not affect the potential change with those other folks.
Correct. It's up to Turk how they want to look at that. So Turk could look at it and say, you know what, York County Board of Equalization, and you took up these protests, so you acted on them, we're gonna leave those alone. Everyone else, you're gonna get this adjustment. From what I've seen, it looks like adjustments are coming down for most people, based on the analysis that the department did, what their proposal is. So, so yeah, the ones that these protests are due that have been filed today and you guys are acting on today, rather, there's a good chance those could just stay as is. Whatever you guys decide to do with them.
But if there's a chance that they could in fact go down after Turk reviews this, and they don't because we took action today.
Then they'd have protest opportunity again to protest that again.
To Turk.
I think to you guys.
We're not clear on that, though.
I'm not clear on that. They would have appeal procedures. That's for sure, whether it's to the County Board of Equalization or to Turk.
To Turk, they'd be able to go back to Turk yet. Right?
Right, if they don't agree with what you guys did, they go to Turk.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask his original question again. The people who are not following this think something might happen, they're still gonna have the right to file a protest.
Yes.
Okay.
That deadline has not ended?
Whenever you change value, you get the opportunity to.
But but we may not change value, that's my point, Kurt.
Yeah.
If the states comes back and
Right,
says.
I see what you're saying.
Right, but these people think we are changing, there's a very good potential we will change, so they
Right.
haven't filed and they're waiting for to see what
Right,
decisions
they're
we
on
make.
the what we call the glitch list, waiting on the over/under report,
Correct.
and that's why I just don't want to dismiss that.
And some of these aren't on the over-under
No, they're
report
not.
either.
No, like the ones here today, they aren't, because that's why they're.
Right.
You're saying there's possibly some that aren't on this list
There
and
was-
aren't on the glitch list.
Yes, because they watched last week's, or 2 weeks ago, the meeting 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And they think that we're taking a look at reverting back from the 2020 manual to 2008 and waiting to see what that result is before they do take action.
Is there a deadline when they can file a protest?
Yes, it's over.
Well,
Unless-
in the normal course of things.
Right.
June 30th is the deadline to file a property evaluation protest. So after something like this, like these guys here, any of these protests that were filed here, they can appeal to Turk by August 24th is the deadline for that. So.
Right, but the people I'm talking about have not filed a protest.
Right.
And if we don't change, they won't be able to file a protest to Turk because they didn't file here first.
If you go with the over/under report, everyone that's on there, they get their, you guys approve that, those folks would have the opportunity to appeal that value back to you guys again. They'd appeal it to you guys. We'd open this up
Right.
again.
Right.
Like we normally would. And then they could appeal to Turk again, once again. Now, with the petitioning to Turk, there again, we would be changing value, and I would have to send change evaluation notices out to all those people. And so and we would proceed with, another another round of protest. So,
But if we didn't do anything and Turk didn't do anything, then the opportunity for protest would be over.
Yeah,
It's
yes.
done. And that's why, not that there was a bunch, but probably half a dozen people that came in and visited with me, I told them to file, just to cover.
I did too.
Cover, and they were on this list. They
Well,
were
I did
filed.
too. The ones I talked to were as of recent as this week that hadn't filed and missed the deadline.
Right. But us approving this shouldn't affect the Turk decision, though.
no, I don't think it should.
I mean, because this group of 24 has agreed to it. Now, anything after this would be, we got a
Right.
discussion on those.
But we can't really not act on these, because more than likely, even if we petition Turk today, they're not gonna have us an answer by next week anyhow.
No, Turk has a 5-day hearing notice that they have to give. So the earliest they could meet would be next week. They have till August 10th to actually statutorily to give a decision. And then I would have until August 20th to recertify the abstract at that point. So
Okay.
there's that timeline too.
We do have a motion and a second.
And then keep in mind too, there's recertify the abstract, and then I have to certify values to the political subdivisions by August 20th as well.
Yeah.
So then that brings up the question, do I have to recertify some of those values if there's any decisions made after that? So PTA is looking into that as well.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion regarding this? These 24. Roll call, Kelly.
Croats,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Hot,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
and Fuller.
Yes. Okay, Kurt, did you have others then that you wanted to take up yet today?
Yeah. If you guys are ready to. Was someone else coming in yet, Kelly?
Well, I thought that Hendrickson was
Okay.
at 3 o'clock,
Okay.
but I don't see him obviously
Okay.
showing up.
Jason Jody Kubitschek's place. Do you want to do that, or do you want to wait 2 weeks?
No, that's fine if you.
Okay, I'm ready to move on that one.
Protest number?
28. And we have a change on the land there, 26,100 for a total of 219,107.
Was he all right with that?
Yes,
Yeah, he was all right with that.
he had other questions he wants answered.
Yeah, I know.
Should we do these individually?
Do you
or
have
as
a,
a
do you have a
group?
list that,
No, that's,
you wanna take it individually?
Sure.
We can do that, all right?
Okay. number 28 is what we're doing.
Jason Kupchak.
Yeah.
Okay, make that motion.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Croats,
Yes.
Hot,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Fuller.
Yes.
Let's take up number 26, the Donovans. Their total valuation is $409,157. I kind of gathered their protest was more about some drainage issues on their property than it was the actual value of their.
That has been discussed before. He didn't think it had been, but it has been.
Right.
We've talked about that before. It's downriver is the problem, and it
Right.
backs up into it.
Yeah.
And
What was the deal, Randy?
downstream, it's been blocked, and then it just filters up and plugs, because it's been cleaned too.
It has been. It needs it again.
And
It's
it
pretty
plugged back
bad,
up.
but
Because literally he says going uphill, but it's,
Right.
I don't know if you know where he lives down there or not. But yeah,
I don't know if that's a landowner issue or a county issue.
well, it's one of those deals
the
where,
trouble is, yeah, the blockage is on private
Private
land.
property.
So then it creates a public issue. It's a private cause creating a public issue.
we should be able to do something,
Mhm.
you would think. You would think. So anyhow,
Call Corps engineers maybe.
I didn't take it from Bill's comments that he was okay with that 409,000.
Right, I would agree. He would prefer to see it stay where it was.
because of
Correct.
that issue.
But here again, if we take action, approve Kurt's number, that's gonna knock it out from Kurt taking a look at it unless they file a separate protest.
Yeah. He has the right to file a separate protest to Turk.
Yeah, he can appeal this decision to Turk. If you were to approve this today, the recommendation today, he can appeal that to Turk.
What number is it?
26.
You're worried that if we lower his value,
If we lower
Turk
his value.
Turk will say, oh, I don't need to look at that one because it's lower.
Correct. There again, punishing the people who put in the legwork.
And that's those parameters as far as what parcels you want Turk to look at. If you want to include all of these, you guys have every right to.
In my opinion, we need to flip the whole, everything he did as 2020 back to 2008 and look at the whole damn works. But
I would love to start over, Andy, I really would. But I don't think, I gathered from the property tax administrator, that's probably not an option for us.
that's the question that's been being asked for 2 weeks now. Is that a possibility? And we've been here 7 hours now, or however long, to get that to come out. I have a little bit of an issue with that, Kurt.
Okay.
Give us the information so we can make the right decisions.
It's unknown what Turk is going to let you do. I mean, there's a lot of may in the statute as far as going down this route. When I gather from Sarah Scott, our property tax administrator, these requests haven't been successful in the past, but it's also because it's been the County Board of Equalization wanting to change a subclass, but have nothing to back it up. Whereas we're going to come in with some numbers to back it up.
I just can't get over the fact that 90% of everything that we're dealing with in the last 2 meetings are are in that group of people and that group of parcels that are in where you use a 2020 manual. I mean, because if you would have, the glitch exception report for York where you reverted back from the 2020 to the 2008 manual that fixed a lot of those issues, we'd be sitting here for 3 weeks listening to protests. Instead, we're just listening to a portion of the county. Unless they said yes, I have a hard time approving any other property tax today.
I mean, the other option is to make a motion to accept what they requested. Or make, if we have a, if we can come up with our own evidence-based
There again, we may be
property number.
We'd have to be evidence-based,
Right.
otherwise it'd just be pulling a number based on their webs.
Yep.
Which I don't agree with all those either.
Right. Yep.
So he had, what I've got on his, what did you, the number on his, Kurt? I just set, mine isn't loading.
On Duncan's?
Yes. He's asking for 353,630. You had it at 419,980. 86?
I don't,
For '09, 157 for a
Right.
total.
Oh, I'm just looking at what he wrote.
Yeah, so the total that Kurt had it to begin with was 510, 591, 510,591. Kurt recommended taking it to 409, 157.
Okay.
and that change was in the residence, so there was some condition updates that I did on that one, because I felt like over condition. And then also I changed, I just took the bare value and put a 23% market increase on that one to get it in that range of value.
Okay.
Where did the 23% come from?
Looking back at the increases that we did,
This thing is,
So aggravating, I don't
To-
understand why.
to get into that
So
range,
slow
just to
it
barely
down.
get into that range, so just to get over 92%. That's what
I
I
even
had to do
tried
on
to
the
download
low
them.
res, because it started out in the
and it don't like that.
60s or 70s.
So everyone's place was valued in the 60s or 70s and it's supposed to be 90s.
Well, this is one that we can hold back
The
till next
acceptable range of
weekend
value is
too.
92 to 100% of actual value. And so when I started this process. it
How
was
did we
done
get
this-
away with having them in the 60s to 70s?
We didn't. That was how it started. That's how it started this year. If I would have done nothing, no market increases, that's what would have happened. And then Turk would have looked at that during statewide equalization in April, and they would have ordered me to bump them up to the mid-range between 92 and 100%.
But here again, 23% market evaluation, we're at 50% plus. No, for the original, sorry, the 2024.
Right.
Yeah. We're still 25% or better.
Okay. Not comfortable with Donovan's?
Nope.
No.
Okay. Is there any on here, that you would be comfortable with? Kurt, how about you?
Protest number 31, Paul's, they have the vacant lot in Henderson there.
Okay,
It was valued at half its value because they said there was no access to it. However, they do own the parcel right to the south of it, so therefore I feel like they do have access to that parcel. So I don't feel like there's any reason to have a lower value on that piece of property.
and that one was valued at like $9,000.
$9,530.
It didn't went up that much.
And does that, I mean, like in his defense, the one that he compared it to having sewer and electrical connections ready for a house, does that play into anything or not really?
I don't think so. I mean, he has access to it, so.
He does, nobody
He
else
does,
does.
but no one else does if you'd sell it.
No, that's true.
And the way I was taking that comment was that this other lot has got that at its frontage. It has sewer, water, the electric went back in the,
Okay,
what I don't
yep.
know if it's alley or what, but it did have sewer, water, and a street access, so it seems like he's right, there should be some kind of adjustment if it is back in there and then it's vacant. It doesn't have that street continue on, the way I took his map.
Yep.
So, yeah, I would agree, with him on that one. It seems like that makes sense. Sure shouldn't be the same value.
Right.
I don't know that I can tell you exactly what the value should
Right.
be. And he wanted it left the same, so we'd have to research to see.
No,
if
he
there's
actually requested it higher,
Did he request it higher?
slightly higher, a few percent.
He requested 2620.
Yep,
And what was it at?
2382.
Oh, slightly, very slightly. I'm about ready to shut this thing down and start over again. It just won't load it. I think it's tired of being here too.
Mine's slowing down too.
Keep going, Kurt. You got any others?
Okay, so you don't want to act on 31?
No?
You want to act on Kathy Halls that was here this afternoon?
That one's,
Let me read, I would like to look at some
Yeah.
other buildings there. What number was that?
106 and 107.
I want to check on the
Just,
mobile home.
I
I
mean-
want to check on the mobile home one.
On
Okay.
her home, and I mean, you can't really just go by square footage, but just on square footage, she's at 80. Right across the road is at 62, just around the corner is at 69. So it seems like maybe she's a little overvalued. And again, conditions are all
Right.
relevant to that conversation.
I think we're all can figure out what happened. She was given a very low grade to satisfy at the time, and then that stayed on there. Okay,
Number 25, Perez Stacy. My recommendation on that one is 91,426. She's asking 84,297.
What was it last year, Kurt? Can you forget?
Last year was 111,798. Or excuse me, last year, 2023 was 81,000. So she's requesting about 3,000 more.
everybody good with that one?
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
Motion to accept assessor's recommendation.
Do I have a second?
I didn't hear the question.
He had a motion to accept for protest number 25, Stacy Perez. And that one was, it was valued, did the value number change, Kurt, on that one? 111,798,
Yeah, my recommendation is 91,426.
and currently it's being valued at 84,297.
That's her
Her
request.
request. It was
Oh,
81.
I'm sorry.
Went from 81 to 91.
Yep.
I'd have it if this thing would cooperate. I'll second it. That way we can discuss if there's any discussion. Anybody got discussion?
If we want to change these, we have to have some sort of proof, right? Why we
Well,
wanna change it.
should.
Yeah.
Roll call.
Is there any other discussion? Roll call.
Probst.
Yes.
Omenauer.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Ott.
No,
And Bowman.
No.
Okay. Kurt, continue on.
Alright, protest number 30, Jason Balaban. He's requesting 65,000. My recommendation is 91,000. Last year it was at 71,923. He has had some improvements to the property. It's in the Lushton Village.
Here again, if we go and switch to back to the 2008, we're gonna screw these folks.
So let's move on from that one then.
Well,
Or it,
if that's gonna be the continual, we have no others that have agreed to anything. Everybody else has protested, and, we can get, because so far we've done 24 in the first round, and then 2 others. If action is taken by the state within the next 2 weeks, this board has reversed actions before. Is there any reason we could not reverse action that you could think of?
The only thing is the clerk has to send notice out within 7 days after you take action on any protests.
Right.
We could still reverse action after that, correct?
Let me double check on that.
could possibly, but then, I mean, then they'd get another valuation change.
And just make it more and more confusing.
Rescind the motion, pretty much.
It basically is what it'd have to be. But if we're gonna do that and make it more confusing, then let's just stop doing what we're doing until we've heard from the state.
Kurt, when you mentioned that other counties use different manuals, how, that just blows my mind. That's two different sets of rules. How does that ever go through State Board of Equalization?
That I can't tell you how Turk proves that.
Is it I mean, is it an anomaly to where the book is that much of a change from, from 08 to 20, seeing 99% jumps? Normally, you might be on one book and then the next book is a 7% change, and that might be more
Right, and I think
easier to swallow.
I think it kind of depends on how you have things graded and conditioned, so maybe your lower graded and conditioned homes aren't going to see the big increase like your higher graded conditioned homes. With equalization, Turk's just looking to see if you're in your range of value. So when I submit my abstract, they just look to make sure my ag numbers are where they're supposed to be in my commercial and residential. They don't really dig into it any further than that in each county to say, okay, now it looks like in residential, looks like York has an equalization here in York residential. They don't dig into get down into it real far. They just kind of look at the 40,000 foot view, if you want to call it that. So.
What about the land? The ag land? I know we have
I'm comfortable with what I've set on ag land.
several pieces of ag land here. Sings and others. They're not gonna be looked at any differently with a different book or coding or something like that, right?
No, because that's a spreadsheet that's sent out by the Department of Revenue that we get, and then we take the information from that and set our values, and we plug it into we manually put that into our CAMA system.
Okay, so we have.
So ag land's exempt from the manual debacle we have with property.
Yeah, because like I said, I take that spreadsheet that the department sends me, and then I move the numbers around to make sure I can get my ag numbers are where they're supposed to be, and then I go into the tables in my software system, and I just put values with each sort of ag soil type.
So do you have a list of those?
I can look through here real quick and get those. There's one in town here, it's a rent restricted housing property, but they protested their value. That's one I would feel comfortable you guys taking action on. That's another one where they submitted their expense and everything, their reports to the state in the summer. In the fall then, they send those out to the counties to look at, and then later in the fall, they, it's called the Rent Restricted Housing Projects Valuation Committee. They set a cap rate, that we take that cap rate then, and then we determine the values of those rent restricted housing units based on the information that they submit to the state and that the state remits to us. And so this one here, it's protest number 45. It was Savage and Browning for YBMG. They're protesting their value. They feel like it should be 1.75 million. I'm sticking my guns on that one at 2,139,797. And again, that's based on the information they provided the state. And the information they provided with their protest, the income loss report that they submitted isn't even for the correct year. So that would be one more in York. Are you comfortable you guys setting, and it also does not have anything to do with
The
again,
8
something
to
I
20.
manually put in.
Okay,
And I think there's just been a recent, in the last couple of years, movement to, I think, where they've been protesting their values more in other counties as well.
okay.
It's the same group? Is that what you're saying, or just
Yeah.
these types of?
Yeah, like these types of projects, restricted projects, I think they're represented by a lot of the same law firms in the state, so.
Yeah, that's the one I spoke to you about earlier where, okay.
That wasn't necessarily.
They want to say their values are 0, and they're not making any money.
And that's not this particular one,
Yeah,
that's a
but-
different one, so. And I'm assuming they'll take that to Turk then too, so.
Okay, so we have that one.
Which development is that, where's that at?
That's YVMG Prairie Fire.
High school,
Yeah,
kind
in that neck of the woods.
of across the railroad from the high school.
By Miller Park.
On the north side of the tracks there.
Miller Park, yep.
A lot of units out there.
Yep, yep, yep. And they raised all their rents after time was gone.
Feelings? We good with that one?
Motion to accept assessor's recommendation.
Protest 45, Savage and Browning. Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Odd,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Overland.
Yes.
Number 56, McCoskey Properties, that's ag land.
Okay. You got some numbers, Kurt?
I'm sorry. My recommendation on that one is 867,492. It's for 121 acres.
How many acres?
121.
Thank you. I just didn't hear the 21. What did they protest on?
They were requesting,
Same as last year.
yeah, same as last year.
802,068.
Has to do with market. Increase group?
Yeah, when I started the process without kicking any sales out, the top level of ag land would have been like at 9,200 an acre. And so after reviewing the sales and getting the bad sales out of there, that's what we got it down to then.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
What's your feelings? I'd make a motion to accept assessor's recommendation on protest number 56, Kelly Bukowski. Assessor's recommendation is $867,492.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Overmeyer.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Todd.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Okay. And Nate, are you around for just a little bit, or are you taking off at 4?
I was gonna go, there's this lovely dog situation I need to go check out, but I mean, it could be a little past 4, that's fine.
Okay. We need to, during the hearings today, the place in Double Barrel has been brought up more than one time. Are we still looking into that? That's what I wanted to
There
know
were
about.
2 areas to look at. One, there really wasn't anything we could do. The other one, I'll need to follow up on. They're supposed to have gotten me a conditional use permit a while ago. They haven't. I'll just follow up with them and double check it, because
But it's a game bird, right?
from what we could find, Chris and I both went into those regulations because we couldn't find where specifically find it. What we were able to, where we thought it fit was basically an intensive care unit type thing, just like any other type of housing for regular animals. There's a confined unit and there's like intensive. We had it fitting in one of those, and there's still setbacks that are required. Abide by if they're big enough. And there's ones that, if we get several 100,000 birds, that needs to be a certain setback distance. That's the bigger one. But there's, from when I looked at it, there's only one property that was close enough within the setback that we need to make close contact with that person. But again, they're supposed to have got me a permit for that a while ago. I'll admit I haven't followed up with that longer than I should have. It's good. It's a good kick in my seat to go get them followed up on. I can go do that. But
That'd be Mr., what was his name?
We'll touch base again,
Right across the street.
because we are in meeting yet. We won't want to discuss it, too much further, but that has been brought to the forefront today, and we need to.
yeah, the north one, it's basically what I can find is if you're under 30,000 birds, there are no setback requirements per the regulations. And Chris and I both went through that, and that's both what we came up with. For pheasants, they count as 0.01 of an animal unit. You need 300 animal units to qualify for setbacks. I don't know why it's written that way, but that's how it was written.
Okay. All right.
That answer most of the question?
Yeah, we just need to visit, some more, and that way we
Well,
can.
I don't think this doc thing's gonna take that long, so I can come back and
Okay,
visit a little more.
whatever.
Sure.
Well, I'm sure once we gavel out, we're gone.
Yeah, I understand. We'll have to-
I'm guessing.
After this, I understand.
We'll touch base.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Nate.
Yep.
Okay, so we have 4556 more.
Okay, protest number 62, Sammy Sherrill. That's ag land, and it has some improvements, but those improvements have been downgraded significantly to damage and condition and grade. No one's living there. It's our intention to take those out, to remove those improvements at some point. Ag land, she had requested zeros on all of her values on all of her protest forms. So my recommendation was the ag land be at $867,031, the improvements at $35,972, for a total of $903,003.
What were the improvements last year?
The improvements were $30,196.
Okay.
Okay, and there'll be a whole list of these.
This one does have improvements, so we'll take it separate, I guess. Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay.
Say what?
This one has a house, the rest of them don't. On Cheryl Singh's protest.
House and outbuildings.
Make a motion to accept the assessor's recommendation for protest number 62, total amount of $903,000 $1,003.
Thank you. Second? Is there any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Brooks,
Yes.
Overmeyer.
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
and Bowman.
Yes.
Okay.
Protest number 63, that's our 78 acres. Assessor recommendation is $583,045. They requested 0.
It's just an acreage?
No, this is all.
It's 78 acres.
Yeah, sorry.
all this ground.
Almost an 80.
That's what I wondered.
I should not have said acreage, I should have said
Here, let's talk through every parcel of ground, the next
On
one.
Cheryl's?
Oh, the rest of it,
Cheryl's,
okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Because they're all ag land, correct?
Number 64, that's 79.7 acres, that's 438,905 is my recommendation there. Protest number 65 for 154 acres, my recommendation is 986,802.
Is she requesting 0 on all these?
She did. Protest number 66, it's for 80 acres. My recommendation is 587,402. Protest number 67 for 123 acres. My recommendation is 853,845. Protest number 68 is for 154 acres. My recommendation on that one is 1,084,222. And protest number 69, that is for 155 acres. And my recommendation on that one is 1,153,256.
Thank you.
Oh, we have to have a motion first, we'll discuss it, sorry.
You want to make a motion?
I would love to make a motion to accept valuations on those said parcels.
Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. Any discussion?
Thank you. Anybody have any idea why she wants 0?
She don't want to pay taxes.
Did she just not write anything in there?
No, she put 0 in there. She's, she in her comments on one of them, with her comments that she had with them said something about she likes the epic option, so.
Oh. You knew the answer to that, didn't you? No?
I remember reading it. I
Oh,
couldn't have
okay,
recited it to you.
No, but
And she had 2 separate, attachments, and one of them said something about the epic option on it,
They
so.
all sound like $8,000 and $9,000.
Okay.
So is all the ag land somewhere around that 10% increase this year?
Yeah, yeah, depending on what it was irrigated ground that went up. There was one class of dry land that went up. So 1D1 was lower than the next one below it, so I just raised that up so they were both the same, just because of the 1A1 and the 1A, they're the same. So I wanted those two to be the same, but that was the only dry land class that had any increase. There was no change in any grassland, it was just irrigated. When I was looking at the spreadsheet and trying to get the values in range, changing any of the grassland values did nothing, because there just weren't a lot of grassland sales, just because there's just not there's just not a lot of grassland in York County anymore, so.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Todd,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
and Overmeyer.
Yes. Okay, so that is those. More, Kurt?
I think that's probably about what we would have to act on, or you'd have to act on today.
We got Renee or Delton. I think that was,
Two, yeah,
that was just a straight quarter, wasn't it?
I believe so.
109? Was, I don't remember any others unless I'm missing something.
That is 164 acres is what we have on that one, and it's valued at 1,254,462.
How many acres you have, Craig?
164.
FSA's only got 162.
Okay, well then let me take a look at that. Let's stop on that one.
All right.
Well, and to Jason's point earlier, maybe it's 164 deeded.
Could be, but let's just
Uh-huh,
make sure we're doing it right.
1 acre to it, yep.
Okay. Is that all of them?
That's the protest.
Okay, I've got number 26, 31, 106, and 107 as ones to really pay some special interest to over the next 2 weeks. Does anybody have any others that they have written down?
Say your numbers, were those the pheasant ones?
What'd you say, Randy?
26, 31, 106, and 107. Donovan's and Paul's over in Henderson. And then 106, 107. Kathy and Cheryl.
I would also, the 34 as well as, what's his name? 101, Mr. Collingham with the
Right,
zoning.
those are gonna be, that's gonna have to be some more explanation.
Yep.
Was 34, Mr. Hoffman?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, can I state an opinion?
You're in public record, but yes.
I think that they could be harming the value of their neighbor with that. So the value may need to be lower, not because of condition of the house, because of proximity of those animals.
Correct, that's my point. And
Yeah.
if they're
Nothing
improperly placed, then I think they've definitely got a leg to stand on with that, from a zoning standpoint, so.
Okay.
And that's something you could use an obsolescence on to lower the value on those particular parcels, and they would still see, if there had to be a market adjustment in the future, they would still receive a portion of that market adjustment, but it would just be not as much as everyone else would get based on that obsolescence.
Especially if there's no infraction, if there's no problem,
Right.
then those could be addressed.
Right, I think a lot of times, some of those, is what we're kind of guessing when we're looking at some of these properties, some of those problems they were trying to resolve them by messing with the grading condition, which is not the way to approach that. There's other ways in the system to do that.
Right.
But I think that was, between that and sale chasing was why some of those grazing conditions were.
And so what happens when, and I know I read it in one of these before, this is when a neighbor's doing it, but what happens when you're doing it to yourself?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we read it's next to a feedlot. Well, it's next to a feedlot that they own.
But it should be equalized, shouldn't it?
You know, so if we do the obsolescence for when a neighbor does it to you, then it would still be available to somebody that does it to himself.
And then how far do you guys want to go out? You want to go out 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles? And that's,
Well, that needs to be addressed in our zoning then too.
That would be the ideal
Undoubtedly
place
needs
to
be addressed in our
Yeah,
zoning.
for sure.
know our footprint.
Okay, was there any other numbers, guys?
Yeah, 2, 3 more.
53.
53, and then Bolte's, the number is
16 or 17.
17. The sound value issue, we need to look and see how we're gonna better resolve that than just,
Okay.
And then we needed to check with 39 with Jim, because you said you had a conversation with Jim, but he didn't indicate either way.
No. I was nervous moving forward on that one, so.
and then
Yeah,
Eugene
'cause he
Gokey's.
uses that terminology, I know what
huge
that means.
outlier.
You're getting close.
Gene. Right.
You're doing better. Doesn't mean he approves at all.
What was that, Andy?
72 Eugene Goki's
Right.
property seemed like a,
And you were gonna look into that one, Andy?
Yeah, I started working over that on the new tower, so,
Okay.
and I sent him an email on that, so.
Okay. So, we got a few of them taken care of. You'll keep working diligently to get us more information. I have 26, 31, 34, 39, 53, 72, 101, 106, 107. Oh, I got 17 in there too. That I'll be looking at and checking with too. Okay.
If you guys have something else during,
Will you let us know as soon as the state comes back?
absolutely.
And
Do we need to
Do we
petition
need-
Turk today, or hold off
If
another
you're
week?
not comfortable doing that, would you be willing to
I
do
mean-
a special meeting next Tuesday to do that?
I'm perfectly comfortable petitioning them today, but
Petition
Inlet.
for,
for them to review the residential properties.
Or an adjustment to a class or subclass of property?
because we have that on here yet, and we have discuss and act on undervalued clerical on here. And we have the destroyed property on here too. When do we have to do the destroyed property by?
I think by the 25th, but I'm comfortable doing that one today. Needs to be filed with the county clerk on or before July 15th. I think that needs to be done by the 25th, like any decision you
Okay.
guys make.
Is there anything, any decision we make on any other thing that will affect this one here?
The destroyed real property?
Right.
He is on the over-under list for a correction on that value of his property. So the current assessed year value that's on that sheet is what's on the over-under list. So that's why I kind of need you to do the over-under list first, not the whole thing, just the portion where we did find mistakes in some of the parcels where, like the 240 pool houses instead of a 240 square foot pool house, for example, those kind of things, or people reporting to us where there was buildings that were removed, and we could look back on our photography last fall and prove that, yes, they're right, it was removed, and so we should move that off the parcel. So that's what the portion of the over-under list I would like you guys to correct today is.
And do you have that itemized out?
I can, really fast here.
You okay?
Yeah.
Take a drink.
And then we have discuss and act on petitioning tax equalization review commission. You comfortable with that, Daniel?
Unless somebody can tell me why we shouldn't do it today.
Right.
I mean, yeah, that's, I
And
guess
then we
that's
would-
where I'm at.
We would hear back from them, hopefully. You said 5-day out meeting or appointment?
They have a 5-day publication notice, Turk does, for any hearings that they have.
And then do we have
And
to
they
be
have-
present at that?
Yes. As in, you as a board member or your county attorney's office needs to be there. I can't stress that enough, that I
Okay.
cannot represent the board at Turk meetings.
yeah, we found that out
We
last
got
time.
burned on that once already. That was not fun.
So if they are notified tomorrow, the
They throw it
10th,
out.
then it would be sometime next week, probably. Okay? Is that a motion?
If you want one, I'll make it.
Okay, so what are we doing?
Well-
We're doing the over-under, or?
No, we're discussing act on petitioning the tax equal, he's coming up with a list right now. To review, discuss and act on petitioning the Tax Equalization and Review Commission for an adjustment to the valuation of a class or subclass of property.
Brooks is first. Made a motion?
What's that?
Did you make a motion?
I will make that motion. Do we need to include what that class or subclass property is?
No, that would be done in the petition that the county attorney makes to Turk.
And county attorney's office got to get going then.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Brooks.
Yes.
Ott.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
And O'Donnell.
Yes. Now, do you get that information to the county attorney, or do we?
I can get that to the county attorney and keep you guys in the loop on that, if
Okay.
you'd like.
Thank you.
Perfect, thank
Well,
you.
if we have to be there, yes.
Mhm.
Well, your county attorney should be there, because he
Right.
is your representative, so. And that's something that could be done by a Zoom call too, where we wouldn't have to go to Lincoln for something like that, so.
Well, that'd be all right.
And I think that would also be just handled through their normal statewide equalization process. Because that convenes that adjourns on August 10th. And so they just, whenever they have meetings, they always just recess their equalization proceeding until something else comes up, so. All right, so with the over-under list now, we have a total of 69 items on there. So would result in the value of going down on the abstract by $6,218,994. A lot of these are just incorrect grade and conditions on some of these properties, or improvements were removed, but they weren't removed in our system yet.
How do you want to identify those other than just 69? Do they have? It's a lot of parcel numbers.
I think you just approve the over-under report, so you do. Is there,
And then they can protest it if they still don't like it.
yeah, so what will happen is then you guys approve this over-under report. I will send a new change evaluation notice out to these individuals. It's actually more, it's called a board notice, because it came from the board. And then they would have the opportunity to appeal your decision on these. But most of these, you're not gonna see it, because most of these are people that came in and said, hey, you know,
Right.
there was something wrong with my property here, so.
And so this report of 69 properties, this is not the first report that we received last week, correct?
No, it's, I took off, I took everything, I left the valuation equalization ones separate, and these are the ones that are have some issues that need to be fixed.
And you will, just for our records, you'll get us a list of these 69?
Yep, I will do that.
Thank you.
You want them listed in
Motion to
minutes?
approve, what's that?
You want them listed in
That'd probably be good, yeah.
Listed what?
No, my
We'll
minutes.
list them in the minutes.
Sure.
The property ID numbers.
Yeah.
Motion to approve or accept the over-under report,
Let's go.
69 properties.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's go ahead and put the number in there. Okay,
Do you want,
okay.
Say
Any
that.
other discussion?
do you want the value change in your motion as well?
Sure.
The, lower the abstract, $6,218,994.
Get all that, Kelly?
So the total value for these properties was $35,827,100. And the proposed values would be a total of $25,689,567. That's not it.
Okay. Motion second. No more discussion? Roll call.
Brooks.
Yes.
Ott.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
And O'Donnell.
Yes. Okay, and we're gonna, on this one, on the
So yes, then the,
destroyed
Darrow
property?
Enterprises on the Form 425. There was a court decision that came down from the state Supreme Court this year that included fire as a reason for damaged property. It used to, it was more, the law was a more passed after the 2019 floods where it damaged a lot of land even too. significantly. But the court's decided now fires two improvements as a reason for that as well, so. I went out there, inspected the place myself, and I thought there was sufficient damage to the property. I did run this by the owner, and they were fine with it. And this is just for 1 year, so in 2025 then his value will go back up to $84,976.
Unless he destroys it.
Right, well, you know, I don't think there was really any damage to the outside, it's mostly just the interior, so, and they have crews in there fixing it up, so. They were there cleaning it out actually when I was there that day, so. Had to down a lot of the studs and everything, so. A lot of smoke damage, she's almost had to gut the whole thing when you get to that, so.
Okay, so you feel comfortable doing this one then?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so we would need a motion to approve Form 425 filed by Miro Enterprises.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Mr. Bowman?
All right, what's your name?
Okay, it's fine.
Roll call.
Hot,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Everett.
Yes. Anything else?
No,
Anybody else?
my apologies again, guys, I'm
Nope.
We are adjourned.
really trying to sort through all this.
Turned off yet?
We're getting